the world, our world, is a product of our own vision. We say, Jaise drishti, vaise shishti. As I see, so is the creation. As is my vision, as is my sight, as is my perspective, so is the world. And that is why the drishti, the vision, is so essential and so critical. Because it is with the right vision, with the right perspective, that we are able to create the world that we want to live in. The dilemma is that most of us, our vision is so narrow. Our perspective is so narrow. It's rooted on the basis of what we see with these two eyes that so frequently leads us to jealousy, to lust, to anger, to greed. And it's based on the perspective of the sanskaras that we've gotten. What our parents said, the culture that we grew up in, the society we grew up in. And so most of us grow with these very, very narrow perspectives, sort of tunnel vision over our eyes. And that's all we can see. And this is where it's so important to broaden our perspective. Because if you can't see, you don't know where you're going. It's like, would you sit in a car that didn't have a steering wheel? Or would you sit in a car where the windshield was completely covered and you could only see out of one tiny, tiny little circle in the middle of the windshield? Of course not. You'd say, I need to see through the whole windshield. I need to see out my rearview mirror. I need to see from my side mirrors. Only then can I actually drive this car. But if we can't drive a car without being able to see, how are we supposed to drive our lives? And this is where that focus on our third eye center is. What we call the Agya Chakra. It's the center of divine sight, that third eye. And it's why we put the tilak there, to remind us, hey God, hey divine energy, experience, power. Open this divine eye so that I can really see. Not just shapes and forms, not just color, not just separation, not just that which I'm already programmed to see, but help me really see the truth and the divinity. If you walk down the street, let's say you walk down the street of a busy city and you are really hungry, what are you going to see along the way? You're going to see restaurants. You're going to see food stores. At the end of the walk down the street, if someone says, Acha, what was on that street? You'll say, oh, there was a pizzeria, there was a Chinese restaurant, there was a pretzel guy. And if someone else is in the midst of lust and overcome with sensual desires, that person is going to see what? Eligible people along the road, right? The end of the street, they're going to say, oh, there was that really hot chick standing in front of the bank, or there was this really beautiful girl, beautiful woman standing there. That's where their vision is. And so that's where their mind goes. And of course, it's interactive. Where the mind is, that's where my sight goes. Where my sight is, that's where my mind goes. What it means is, throughout our lives, in every situation, all the time, our vision is what's most important. Which means, what can we do to increase our vision? Increase our perspective. Number one, most important. Do whatever meditations you can on the third eye. As you meditate, as you pray, as you do yoga, as you do your breathing exercises, bring the awareness to this third eye center. Draw the power of sight from within to open that center. And as you move through the world, constantly check your vision. What am I seeing? Might there be another way? Is there another way of seeing this? How many of you have always seen since childhood these optical illusions, right? Do you see two people looking at each other? Or do you see a flower vase in the middle? Do you see the old woman or the young girl? There's all these beautiful optical illusions that we learn as kids, pictures that we see that you can see two different ways. Most of us see one of them first, very easily. Then it takes a little while to see the other one. But once you can see both, you can very easily go back and forth between the vase and the two profiles, between the older woman, the younger woman, or whatever optical illusions you've seen. Allow yourself, as you move through the world, to constantly ask yourself, how else can I see this? I see river. I see mountains. I see flowing water. I see change, constant change as the river flows. But I also see consistency, stability, stillness, the stillness of the rock, the movement of the water, the reflection in the water, the depth of the mountains. Wherever you are, try to constantly shift and expand your vision. What else can you see? When you look at another being, instead of seeing their color, their size, their shape, their physical form, can you see the divine in them? Can you see that spark of divinity within them? Can you see yourself in them? Let this be a beautiful sadhana, a beautiful challenge, a beautiful opportunity and exercise as you move through the world. As your drishti, your vision increases, so will your shrishti, your creation, your world. If you want to change your world, change your vision.